Are we on Earth? Are we a hologram? Where does the darkness end? Do you want to believe anything is possible on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, the craziest show in the mountains? Tune in to WWCU FM every Sunday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. for your favorite conspiracies. The answer to 1984 is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies.
Rockin' the web at WWCUFM.com.
Do I have everybody's attention now? It's me, it's Manny Jones. It's time, Western Carolina. Happy Easter. It's time for the craziest show in the mountains. Live in between the Great Smoky and Blue Ridge Mountains on the campus of Western Carolina University in Cullowhee. It's time for the craziest show in the mountains. I'm talking none other than Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, broadcasting throughout Jackson and Haywood counties in beautiful Western North Carolina and worldwide on WWCUFM.com. I'm Manny Jones, the one with the NWO hat and the one who plans to go to Area 51. It is Sunday, April 21st, 2019. Happy Easter, Western Carolina. So throughout this week and last week, I've gotten this simple question. Just where in the continental United States is Manny Jones? Quite literally, I have been all over the place. I will state first that I did not. I did not go to Area 51, though I would have loved to. Trust me, I would love that. And I did not attend any NSA meeting or CIA meetings or anything of that kind. Last weekend, I was traveling north. I went to Philadelphia for YALCON, a convention held by Young Americans for Liberty. You never realize how small states get as you go north. I could see Delaware from my room. That experience was pretty great. I got to meet some well-known people, including Congressman Thomas Massey from Kentucky. He's a pretty cool dude. His farm, I should say, was built by the materials from his land, is 100% solar. It's pretty cool what he can do. And this weekend, I was not in another state, but I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I accepted a position with the Class A Houston Astros affiliate, the brand new Fayetteville Woodpeckers, which is the hat I am wearing in studio right now. I've traded the NWO hat, though that will be back next weekend, for the one of the Woodpeckers. It was a wonderful time. I was saddened to leave, actually. Don't get me wrong. I love this region as well, and I love you who tune into this program, but I just was dreading at me when I realized I had to leave for 3 weeks before I had to go back and do that. I will be back, and I will say that Bunker the Woodpecker is my new best friend. I'm starting to get a lot of best friends now. First, Paws the Catamount's my best friend, and now Bunker is. Bunker is a great woodpecker, let me tell you right there. Now, that has been my past 2 weeks, and finally, Manny has come back to Greater Appalachia on the craziest show in the mountains. In the first hour of today, we are focusing on two events in April whose anniversary have just passed and are full of controversy and conspiracy theories. I'm talking, of course, of the Waco siege and the Oklahoma City bombing. All that and more you will hear in the first hour. And in the second, we'll, of course, we cover current news in the worlds of conspiracies, paranormal. Story tells how bees have survived the Notre Dame fire. Nicolas Cage probably is not happy about that. A man was busted for shooting guns at fireflies, mistaken for alien lasers. North Korea has apparently publicly executed fortune tellers. And there is a conspiracy theory regarding pop singer Britney Spears. You'll hear that all and more here on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, only on WWCU FM. Queued up in the show, let's start the show off right, is The Diary of Jane by Breaking Benjamin, a very well-known post-grunge band with a very familiar sound to their music. Excuse me. You're tuned in to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. You're tuned in to 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. This is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. I'm Manny Jones. I almost had a panic attack. I thought I saw someone racing by the door in front of me, though. Could be a ghost, though. Why would a ghost appear in broad daylight? Like I have said on this program before, I believe that the radio station is haunted, and that belief has held true all throughout Easter break. By the way, happy Easter. It was good to be back for Easter break this time. I never got to go back this time. The one issue I have with the Easter break is just they don't give you Easter off. You have to come back on Monday, which is what I just don't like. Is how you can't call it Easter break because we're in university, we're the state. So it doesn't get to me how you don't celebrate Easter. I couldn't even go to mass. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, we're talking on the first hour of the program. We're talking about conspiracies related to the Waco siege and the Oklahoma City bombing. We're going to cover first the Waco siege. Now, what exactly was the Waco siege? The Waco siege was a 51-day standoff between the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, and Tobacco, the ATF, and the Branch Davidians. The Branch Davidians were a breakaway religious sect living in the Mount Carmel Center in Waco, Texas. The ATF instigated a siege of the building after it had gotten numerous reports that the Branch Davidians were stockpiling weapons, along with other possible felonies committed by their leader, David Koresh. The standoff resulted in 6 Branch Davidians killed and 4 ATF agents killed and led to a major standoff that still gets criticized to this day. It ended when the center caught fire on April 19th, 1993, killing the 76 people that were inside. 9 escaped later on. The event was a catalyst for the Oklahoma City bombing, as Timothy McVeigh used it and the Ruby Ridge incident in 1992, and it led to perhaps the most well-known conspiracy theorist getting on broadcast today. I'm talking about Alex the Meme Machine Jones. During the Waco siege, or I believe in the aftermath of it, he ended up on Austin Public Access Television and becoming the meme he is today. There are plenty of conspiracy theories regarding Waco. We'll go into them in the next segment. But I do want to say, during this, I know this is a big hot topic. The Waco siege and OKC bombing conspiracies are debated to this day. So if you want to add yourself into the discussion, why don't you give me a call at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. Or you can let me know on Twitter or Instagram. Both accounts have the username Manny Radio Derg. All right, in the system for you is Highway to Hell by AC/DC. And after that is Bang Bang by Green Day from their album Revolution Radio. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies only on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. This is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, broadcasting throughout Jackson and Haywood counties in beautiful Western North Carolina and worldwide on WWCUFM.com. If you're just tuning in for a night of conspiracies, I'm talking about the Waco siege and the Oklahoma City bombing in the first hour, both of whose anniversaries have just passed and have spawned very, very, very big conspiracies, to say the least. About Waco, if you don't know what Waco was, basically, a Waco siege was when the ATF and the Branch Davidian religious sect got into a standoff in Waco, Texas, and it ended when the complex caught on fire. Now, the ATF and the Attorney General at the time, Jeanette Reno, was criticized a lot during that entire phase. As said in the previous segment, it was the main catalyst for Timothy McVeigh to launch the attack in Oklahoma City, and it led to the spawning of the career of Alex Jones, the meme machine, as I affectionately call him, and his numerous memes of him yelling about the frogs. But on to Waco, what are the major conspiracies exactly? Well, the first one comes from Linda Thompson, who made the film Waco, The Big Lie. Her films made a number of allegations. The most famous, of course, is her claim that there was footage of an armored vehicle breaking through the outer walls of the compound, also showing the appearance of a flamethrower. Now, this footage has been described to be edited intentionally. Basically, the 90s instance of fake news. This claim has been denied by people who have made the film, and it is still debated to this day. Another major one that I will touch up on about Waco before we go into OKC was about Hillary Clinton's involvement in it. It seems that since the beginning of her political career and as a lawyer, Hillary Clinton has not escaped conspiracy theories. This one came from Roger Stone. He wrote a book called The Clintons' War on Women, and in there lists the names of those who died at the Mount Carmel. Quoted, "In remembrance of the 76 people, members of the Branch Davidian Church, who died in their homes at Mount Carmel, Texas, on April 19th, 1993, following the decisions and actions of Hillary Clinton." If you don't know who Roger Stone is, Roger Stone was a big part of the Nixon administration and also the Donald Trump election campaign. His love of Nixon is so great, he has a tattoo of Nixon's face on his back. This is true. This Hillary Clinton claim is not new, and in Stone's book, he doesn't go on. There is more evidence of this, though. In the book Waco, A New Revelation, the author says he had received anonymous phone calls from Justice Department managers and attorneys who believe that pressure was put on by Jeanette Reno, who is the Attorney General at that time, and Associate Attorney General Webb Hubbell, and pressure that came from the First Lady of the United States. There's also a claim from a Larry King Live interview in 2001. Clinton White House staffer Linda Tripp said she was with Vince Foster, the deputy White House counsel, watching CNN when a special bulletin came on showing the atrocity at Waco and the children. And his referring to Vince Foster, his whole body slumped and his face turned white, and he was absolutely crushed knowing that the part that he had played, and he had played the part at Mrs. Clinton's direction. Her reaction, on the other hand, was heartless, and I can only tell you what I saw. Those are two main conspiracies regarding Waco. Now, on the fire, the ATF has claimed to this day that the Davidians started the fire themselves. They have audio evidence to prove this that I don't obtain. I don't think I am allowed to play on the radio. So that's the ATF's claim in regards to the fire. In regards to Hillary Clinton's involvement, I was not able to find much, so I will leave that up to you. If you got any comments regarding anything on the program, don't hesitate to give me a call at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. We're going to pause for station identification, and we'll play some music. Queued up is... Ooh, I got a good one queued up in the CD files. I have, if my memory is correct, I have Creep by Radiohead, a classic. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies only on 90.5. WWCU is Western Carolina University.
Will you switch that to our frequency?
Power 90.5.
Where are you?
WWCU Cullowhee.
WWCU FM.com.
Power.
And I'm back again. Apologies for that error. Let's get right into the conspiracies. Of course, this is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. I'm Manny Jones. If you missed the last segment, we talked about the Waco siege, whose anniversary passed just 2 days ago. But there's another event that happened on that exact same day, 2 years after the Waco siege. I'm talking about the Oklahoma City bombing. The OKC bombing occurred 2 years after Waco on April 19th, 1995. It was committed by Timothy McVeigh. McVeigh, whom was a Gulf War veteran and a member of the militia movement, was angered by the U.S. government's role in the Waco siege. McVeigh and his accomplice, Terry Nichols, whom served with him in the Army, built a bomb, and they blew up the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Motivated, of course, by Waco and the Ruby Ridge incident of 1992 in Naples, Idaho. The bomb partially destroyed the building and damaged another 300 buildings and the lives of 168 people. Just like Waco, there are numerous conspiracy theories about Oklahoma City. One conspiracy concerns a possible second person with McVeigh on the day of the attack. This was due to the fact that Terry Nichols had traveled frequently to the Philippines, and Ramzi Youssef, who was the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombings, was planning a plot in Manila. Ramzi Youssef placed the bomb in the 93 World Trade Center inside a rented Ryder van, the same company that later McVeigh would use for his attack. Other theories have linked McVeigh with Islamic terrorists, the Japanese government, and German neo-Nazis. However, the government has believed that McVeigh and Nichols acted alone and were not contacted by any foreign government or agency and were motivated by the government's role in Waco. There has been speculation that an unmatched leg found at the bombing site may have belonged to an unidentified additional bomber. It was claimed that either this bomber was in the building or McVeigh had left it in the back of the Ryder truck to hide it in the explosion. This conspiracy is still debated to this day. Now, there are plenty more. When we come back, there's ones that concern Bill Clinton, and there are also ones that concern that the government may have ordered it, and about the bomb itself. Tune queued up in the system. Let me see what I got in here. I have a lot of songs to manage. Ooh, yes, I got a cover of Blue on Black by Five Finger Death Punch. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies only on 90.5. WWCU is Western Carolina University. Blue on Black by Five Finger Death Punch. This is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, the craziest show in the mountains, only on 90.5. WWCU is Western Carolina University in Cullowhee, North Carolina, broadcasting throughout Western North Carolina and worldwide on WWCUFM.com. I'm Manny Jones. If you've missed the last previous segments, that's not right. If you missed the last segments, I've been discussing the Waco siege and the Oklahoma City bombing. There are numerous conspiracies regarding both. we're focusing right now on the Oklahoma City bombing, which was committed by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols on April 19th, 1995 at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. In the last segment, one of the conspiracies I mentioned was that there was a second bomber along with McVeigh on that day. This rumor has not been confirmed and it is still debated. But perhaps the most popular one is that the U.S. government was involved. It is alleged that there's a conspiracy that alleged that Bill Clinton had either known about it in advance or had approved the bombing. And it is also a belief that the bombing was done by the government to frame the militia movement, which McVeigh was a big part of, or enact anti-terrorism legislation while using Timothy McVeigh as a scapegoat. Other conspiracies claim that McVeigh conspired with the CIA in plotting the bombing. Now, here is where this conspiracy gets pretty interesting. In a letter to his sister from 1993 that the New York Times obtained and published in 1998, Timothy McVeigh claimed that during his time at Fort Bragg, my dad is stationed over there, he and 9 others were recruited into a secret black ops team that smuggled drugs into the United States to fund covert activities and, quote, were to work hand in hand with civilian police agencies to quiet anyone whom was deemed a security risk. We would be government-paid assassins. In a 2001 declaration, Terry Nichols, McVeigh's co-conspirator, alleged that McVeigh reported in December of 1992 how he had been recruited to carry out undercover missions, which initially involved visiting gun shows and making contact with a loose network of anti-government and far-right sympathizers. This undercover activity allegedly escalated to armed robberies and a planned bombing under the direction of FBI agent Larry A. Potts. Filmmaker Bill Bean believes he filmed and actually spoke to McVeigh while doing location scouting at Camp Grafton in North Dakota. And it occurred over a year after McVeigh had resigned from the U.S. Army. Bean notes that the U.S. military and FBI had denied that McVeigh was the main man being filmed at Camp Grafton, I can't English today, but also states that Professor Michael Blomgren, a speech pathologist at the University of Utah, did a voice forensic test of the Camp Grafton subject in comparison to McVeigh and determined a match of 86%. And that concerns the government itself, but there's another conspiracy about the bomb itself. The bomb was a 6,000-pound-plus bomb made mainly from ammonium nitrate fertilizer stored in a big truck. One theory contends that there was a cover-up of the existence of additional explosives, and it focuses on about how local news channels reporting the existence of a second and third bomb within the first few hours of the explosion. Theorists have pointed to nearby seismographs that recorded 2 tremors from the bombing, believing it to indicate 2 bombs had been used. Physicist Samuel T. Cohen, who was the inventor of the neutron bomb, has stated in a letter to an Oklahoma politician that he did not believe a fertilizer bomb was capable of causing the destruction at the Murrah building. Similar to the physicist's findings, Air Force Brigadier General Benton K. Parton expressed an opinion that there must have been additional explosive charges inside the Murrah building. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In 1997, the U.S. Inspector General Agency reviewed the Justice Department and the FBI crime lab based on allegations of chemist Frederick Whitehurst that the lab was poorly managed. And the FBI had relied, and this was getting pretty bad for the OKC bombing because the investigation was mainly partisan, focused on scientifically unsound conclusions. FBI examiners on the back of the explosion, FBI examiners could not identify the triggering device for the truck bomb or how it was detonated, and the evidence did not support the theory that the ammonium nitrate bomb was the primary explosive. So it's very possible that there was multiple, which is very interesting. That concludes the first hour of the craziest show in the mountains, Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. We'll pause a bit for station identification and some music. This is Blow Me Away by Breaking Benjamin. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies on 90.5. WWCU is Western Carolina University. Oh, I missed that. It's the 7 o'clock Numa Numa here on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. Oh, I missed that so very much. It's 7 o'clock, which means we're focusing on the current events in the world of the paranormal and the supernatural. And let me tell you, there is a variety of news to cover. Oh, I love that sound. All right, so our first news story comes to us from Coast to Coast AM in relation to the Notre Dame fire in France. It was a very terrible thing to see that go in flames. I remember my friend Isaac, who is from the Soviet Union, was just in shock over, and he was very saddened by the whole thing. But there's some good news you could say about the Notre Dame fire. There are 3 hives of about 180,000 bees that were living on Notre Dame's roof. Somehow, they survived, even when flames had engulfed the cathedral. The first floor roof above the sacristy, which is just beneath Thoreau's window, had been home to bees since 2013. The beekeeper, Nicholas Gaunt, said, "Thank goodness the flames didn't touch them. It's a miracle." It's definitely not a miracle for Nicolas Cage, who, upon reading the story, went into a shout of, "Not the bees! Ah!" If you don't get that reference, Nicolas Cage was in a movie once, and there's a part of the movie where he's being tortured by bees, and he shouts, "Not the bees! Ah!" It's perhaps one of the most funnier moments in cinema. It is amazing. And there's plenty more of news to cover, such as how a man has been busted for shooting a gun at fireflies mistaken for alien lasers. Does that mean the stars in the night sky are alien lasers from far, far away, depending on how light travels? And a very odd mystery about Britney Spears with the hashtag Free Britney. You'll find out what's going on with that and more. But first, 2 weeks ago, I received an EP in the mail. It arrived here at our wonderful studios here at WWCU FM. It is from a band in Bristol, Connecticut known as Piercing Immortality. This is their EP, Systematic Global Poisoning, which is a fitting EP name for a show like mine. You can find out more about them at piercingimmortality.com or on Facebook at piercing.immortality667. Again, piercingimmortality.com, and on Facebook, piercing.immortality667. This is one of their well-known hits from that EP, No Remembrance. Here on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, the craziest show in the mountains on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. Are we on Earth? Are we in America? You're tuned in to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies, the craziest show in the mountains, broadcasting throughout Jackson and Haywood counties on 90.5 WWCU FM is Western Carolina University. Quick shout out to my family that may be listening. Happy Easter. And to Gratis in the Judicola Residence Hall, who's tuning in making a suit. Hope it goes well, my friend. Previous songs that was No Remembrance by Piercing Immortality and America by the German band Rammstein. Now, on to perhaps the story that I really want to get into that I found today. A man may be serving jail time for shooting a gun at fireflies mistaken for alien lasers. This is the story all about how... No, let's get it right. Now, this is the story all about how... So this was between Jesse Shields and his girlfriend, Catherine McCloskey, in Pennsylvania. This happened last summer. They were out at night in their truck, and they saw eerie green light in the sky. They claimed that they also heard voices, and the vehicle began to shake, which led them to believe that they were at a alien encounter. So, to attempt to prevent their possible impending abduction, Shields grabbed a gun and shot it into the air as a way of warning the aliens. I'm sure if there was one there that wouldn't have done much, but it didn't cause the lights, as you would expect, to go away. So Shields took off on foot to escape the scene, while McCloskey was waited behind the truck. Eventually, he arrived at the house of a homeowner that was unlocked and entered the premises, where he was met by said homeowner who managed to convince him to put the weapon down. Shields begged the homeowner to let him take a shower because his skin apparently was burning, due to the perceived enigmatic lights. His skin was burning. Along the way, the homeowner phoned police, who arrived and arrested the troubled pair. Authorities contend now that the duo were under the influence of a foreign substance. They specifically named the psychedelic drug bath salts, and apparently it is what caused them to confuse fireflies for an alien invasion. They now face considerable jail time, to which Shields cut a deal with the prosecution, and he pled guilty to a pair of charges that led to a 6-year prison sentence. That just, part of me wants to laugh, but part of me wants to feel bad. Ugh. I don't know if any fireflies out in Appalachia, though. I'd love to see some. They're probably not aliens, though, but could they be aliens? That's a question. What do you think of this story? Do you think he had the right state of mind when he pulled a gun and said that the fireflies were aliens? What do you think? Why don't you give me a call at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. Queued up is I Write Sins, Not Tragedies by Panic at the Disco. Every young kid's favorite song. I remember telling my friend him telling me I cannot talk properly today. Getting adjusted stuff. But he was telling me how this was his song in high school, and it's so hard for him to hear it now. So this is Panic at the Disco with I Write Sins, Not Tragedies on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. That was Smells Like Nirvana here on Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies. Now on to another topic here in our current news hour of the show. One thing that has always interested me is the work of tarot card readers, psychics, and fortune tellers. I actually recorded a podcast with a tarot card reader himself, which I hope to release very, very soon. The first episode of The Manny Files on our brand new podcast website, podcast.wwcufm.com. Some people would take to just simply exposing the work of psychics or fortune tellers. However, the government of North Korea has a different way of doing it. Last month, they apparently publicly executed a pair of fortune tellers. This group was known as the 7-Star Group. They were arrested and put on trial in front of an audience of thousands, ordered to watch the event. Now, what would cause this? Apparently, the fortune tellers had used a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old to carry out their activities, claiming that the children were possessed by a spirit oracle and receiving money for telling fortunes. The work of fortune telling is apparently very popular in North Korea. Even high-ranking government officials and families of judicial authorities often visit them. However, it apparently has finally drawn the ire of the North Korean government as they sought to make an example. While one of the women was given a life sentence for superstitious activities, 2 of her fortune tellers were promptly executed after being found guilty. Ooh, that's not a very positive story out of that country. Whether it will curb the residents reliant on soothsayers remains to be seen. So it is not good to be a fortune teller in North Korea, so to speak. When we come back, I'm going to pause for station identification. We're going to talk about a very odd tale about Britney Spears. Apparently, she is being held captive, according to the hashtag on social media, #FreeBritney. We'll find out what exactly that means and more when we pause for station ID and return. After station ID, I have Chop Suey from the band System of a Down queued up. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies only on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. This is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. Now, this is a story I have here in our current news hour of the program that concerns pop star Britney Spears. This is a very odd one. There was a hashtag spread on social media, #FreeBritney, where it claims that Britney Spears checked herself into a mental health facility on April 3rd. This is coming from TMZ. Apparently, it's been building up for some time. Later on April 16th, on a Britney Spears top podcast called Britney's Gram, it aired a voicemail from a member of Spears' legal team who said she was being held against her will in a facility since early January, and there's no telling when she'll be released. In this voicemail, a person claimed Spears had not been taking her medication, which caused her father to pull his support from her Las Vegas residency, which she announced in January 2019 she was putting on hold. Since then, this has led to the hashtag #FreeBritney. And it even got attention from major people, including stars from The Real Housewife of New York City. And even her mother, Lynn, posted on Instagram and promoting the hashtag, "When God's warriors go down on their knees, the battle is not over. It has just begun." It's a very odd story that's very hard to follow, and I hope everything is all right, but the things that'll be out there on social media. I think it was 2 years ago, they said that Kanye West was being held against his will. So it seems to happen a lot in the world of celebrities, if you will. What do you think? Why don't you give me a call at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. Up next, I have a very quite peculiar theme song. It's called Sound of Madness by Shinedown. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies only on 90.5 WWCU is Western Carolina University. That was Rochambeau by The Network from their only album, Money Money 2020. Was that secretly Green Day? Was that Billy Joe Armstrong you were hearing on vocals? That's just one big conspiracy. Thank you for tuning in to the craziest show in the mountains. I know I may have sounded a little bit rambling. I'm still trying to settle back into things. It's going to be a very crazy next 3 weeks. To any students out there, whether you're at Western Carolina University, not Sales Community College, but Southwestern Community. I cannot English. Southwestern Community College. Thank you, CB Roy. Like I said, rambling all over the place. Or at any university or institution across this state, in this region or any high school or middle school. Best of luck on your final exams. Hang in there. It'll all be over soon. Then you can enjoy the sweet relaxation of summer break. To keep up with the show and the conspiracies all around, follow me on Twitter and Instagram under the username @MannyRadioDurg. Manny Radio Durg. And again, like I said earlier, keep up on the lookout for the release of the podcast, The Manny Files, an investigation into the paranormal and supernatural, similar to this show, but a bit more relaxed, if you will. Coming up next is CB Roy's Mostly Blues from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., a show you don't want to miss. I got the end of it coming back home from Philadelphia. Until the next time we...